Hey Trish, are you ready for dinner? I'm so down for barbecue.
Hey Sharvani, I was just at the store, but I couldn't find any beef with the raised without antibiotic sign.
Why does that matter? I'm pro antibiotics. I want my beef to come from a healthy cow pumped full of antibiotics so that I don't get sick.
I don't know, Megs. I'm sorta against antibiotics. I just don't want to be exposed to all those chemicals. Besides, isn't there a massive resistance problem?
Guys, when it comes to food, it's not really a matter of being for or against antibiotics. I learned all about it in my food microbiology class.
What do you mean?
Well, antimicrobials are essential, not in just human health, but we use them in agriculture and food processing. Life as we know it would not be possible without antibiotics.
But isn't it all just for animal growth promotion?
No, Trish. The antibiotics are used to treat sick animals.
You're both right. Gramicidin, for example, is an antibiotic that was used in the 40s to treat mass outbreaks, mastitis in cows, a condition that causes the inflammation of mammary glands and udders. In the 50s, several antibiotics were licensed for growth promotion. By the 1980s, 90% of cattle in the USA were being fed ionophores for growth promotion. Today, there are 95% fewer cases of bovine mastitis, partly due to blanket dry cow therapy, where every cow is treated with antibiotic combinations to prevent infection and improve milk production. It's not that black and white, guys. First, you must understand how bacteria work. As bacteria multiply, random mutations may occur. These mutations may or may not be advantageous. Most of the time, they're simply random. Consider a situation where a new mutation emerges and makes the bacteria resistant to a certain antibiotic. In the absence of said antibiotic, this mutation is not advantageous. And since new mutations normally come with slower proliferation, the mutation will be diluted with the wild-type bacteria and become less significant in every generation.
But if antibiotics are present, you would kill off all the wild-type bacteria. Wouldn't that be a good thing?
Well, not exactly. In the same scenario, if an antibiotic is present, you're right, the antibiotic would kill off the wild-type bacteria. However, the resistant bacteria would survive and continue multiplying. Over time, these resistant bacteria would take over the whole population.
And now, the antibiotic would not work against this new strain. That's pretty scary, guys.
It gets worse. These mutations that confer resistance can be transmitted not just vertically, but also through horizontal gene transfer. This means that the new strain can share their antibiotic resistance with other strains, even wild-type bacteria, even with distantly related species. This actually happens. Virginiamycin, used in poultry and swine industries, conferred resistance to synacrid, an antibiotic used to treat MRSA, a resistant staph strain in humans.
What does that have to do with our health, though?
Antibiotics, when used in food-producing animals, help select for the antibiotic-resistant bacteria and genes. When manure is spread in soil and onto crops, these resistant bacteria and genes mix with other resistant strains, if selected, where they can become more resistant. So when we eat raw veggies, you may be consuming several resistant bacteria. Farmers are also key vectors for resistant strains. In fact, farmers are 760 times more likely to be colonized with MRSA.
That's what I've been saying. There are so many resistant strains that we can't even treat some bacterial infections like tuberculosis as well as we did before. I read a WHO report that said there are about 700,000 deaths due to AMR in 2018.
So exactly what can we do about it? From my understanding, even if we don't misuse antibiotics, resistance will occur.
Well, yes, you're right. As you can see from this chart, it's only a matter of time. Eventually, resistant strains will emerge.
So we're hopeless.
It is possible to achieve safe agricultural practices through better biosecurity. In most cases, antibiotics are often used to compensate for poor hygiene by agricultural producers. Canada has created categories of antibiotics based on their medical importance and banned or restricted for their use of poultry as a safe precaution to decrease resistance. The Nordic countries have also banned the use of antibiotic growth promoters.
Also, always finish your antibiotics so that you can increase the odds of killing all the pathogenic bacteria.
Oh, and don't take antibiotics if you have a cold, because colds are caused by viruses.
Yep, and decrease meat consumption so that fewer antibiotics need to be used.
So I guess we should scrap the barbecue idea, huh?
Yeah, I guess. But I can make a killer mac and cheese.